Today we are looking at an ASUS gaming laptop, and the issue with this laptop is that the hinge is completely destroyed. So what we're going to do is replace the entire palm rest housing, which means that we have to move everything over to the new palm rest, including the motherboard, the battery, the screen, everything has got to move over to that. So basically, I've already popped this open, I've already taken this apart, and I'll probably put a picture up on the screen of the actual issue. But essentially what happens is that a lot of manufacturers will cheap out on the hinge, and what they do is they have metal screws going into plastic, and then over time those get loose and then they crack, and then the motion of opening and closing the lid over and over again gets it loose again. Keeps cracking. Eventually it breaks off, and then you go to open your laptop one day and you feel like the whole thing's going to rip in half because one of the hinges is completely destroyed. So today we are going to see what we can do to get this laptop fixed. I've got an entire palm rest replacement that I've ordered, and we'll go through step by step of how we're going to get all this done. First, you have to remove all 12 screws from the bottom, as you can see here. Next, you want to get some type of spudger and get right above the vent and insert your spudger, and then really just take your time and work your way around. And once you get to a certain point, you can kind of just open it up, and the entire back plastic should pop right off. Now that we have that removed, here's the hinge that's actually broken. So there should be screws right here, but you can see the screws have completely fallen out because, like I said, the standoff posts to screw it in are completely broken. So we're just going to open up this hinge, and then we'll take a look at the other one, and we'll just kind of continue on with the disassembly process. Here's a good look at the new palm rest assembly. So what we have to start doing now is remove everything from the old motherboard that we can, just so we can take all the screws out, and then we will start moving stuff over to the new palm rest. First, we're going to remove this plastic shielding, and that'll give us access to the RAM and the SSD. And this is what I should have done first after opening it up, but we'll go ahead and do it now. We're going to get the battery disconnected, and first step is to remove the screws around the battery, and then we'll get it unplugged from the motherboard, and we can keep going. This battery removal is a little bit tricky, but there's this metal latch that has to slide up away from the battery connector, and then you lift the white battery connector part just straight up out of the socket. And unfortunately, like I was talking about before, after all the opening and closing, the other hinge has snapped off as well, and this screw is just spinning freely. So we'll get some leverage under here, get this screw out, and then we'll continue on with the process. So a quick disclaimer, I didn't follow any guides on this. I've done this so many times that I kind of know what to do, but I'll try to talk over what I'm actually doing so you understand each step, and we'll just go through it that way. So there's a small ribbon cable towards the top of the laptop. I just flipped up the little retention bracket and pulled the cable out, and that way it'll be out of the way. Next up, we're removing the screw holding our SSD in place. We can get that out of the way. Next, we'll get the RAM removed, and you just pull these clips out and it pops up, and then you pull it out of the socket and you're good. Next up, it's a little bit hard to see because I'm still getting used to this overhead camera mount, but I've disconnected the speaker from the motherboard, and I'm removing a few motherboard screws that are holding it to the case, and then we will just continue on from there. So right here, as you can see, the display cable that plugs into the motherboard is connected to the heatsink with this tape. So we'll lift up the tape, just loosen it, and then we should be good. With that tape loose, we can now flip up the connector that holds the display cable in place and then slide that out. Moving our attention back over to the area close to the RAM, we've got a USB board that's connected to the main board, so we're going to flip up that ribbon cable, get it disconnected, remove a few screws, and get that board taken out just so we can get it out of the way. Next, we're going to focus on our cooler assembly, so we'll have to remove the screws holding down the fans, and then the screws holding down the heatsink itself. So if I wiggle the board a little bit, it looks like we're not quite there. The heatsink is over the fans, and the fans are screwed into the board screwed into the case. So a few more screws that we need to get removed, but let's go ahead and move our attention to disconnecting the keyboard and disconnecting the touchpad just so that part's done. And then we can hopefully try to get this board out and keep going. So we're removing that ribbon cable that plugs into that USB board. We've also got a backlight cable that we need to remove, and then the Wi-Fi adapter itself. And the antennas actually just pop off. They kind of snap onto the little metal post on the Wi-Fi card itself, so just be careful when you mess with that. But you just pop those up, take the screw out, let the Wi-Fi adapter lift up, and then you remove it, and you're good. Now that the screws are removed, we can take the motherboard out of the case. Next up, we're going to remove the speakers. They are connected to each other directly, so you just have to unroute this cable and then move it over to the new palm rest. After that, we're going to move the touchpad to the new palm rest. With the hinges unscrewed from the palm rest and everything else out of the way, we can go ahead and move that off of the screen, and then we can give the screen a nice cleaning, and then we can move on to the next step. So the next step in the process is to check the thermal paste and thermal pads. We might as well while we have everything broken down. So I'm removing the heatsink assembly now from the motherboard, and it's pretty much stuck on there with this dried up thermal paste. So we're definitely going to have to replace that. And I'm going to try to use some thermal putty to give this a better chance of cooling everything off, as these thermal pads and older thermal putty is kind of dried up and not really working as it should. First, we use an alcohol wipe to remove the old dried up thermal paste and the thermal putty before we can apply anything new. And the factory thermal paste was so dried up that I actually had to take the motherboard and the heatsink into my garage. And I'm blasting this with WD-40 electronic contact spray. This is not regular WD-40. I get asked this in every single video. This is not regular WD-40. I'll put the details on the screen. It is special formula electronic contact cleaner spray that is safe for PCBs. That's what it's made for, and that's what I'm using here. So this will blast away any dirt, any thermal paste. It'll loosen everything up, and it dries extremely quickly. I just followed this up with my plug-in blower that I have, and that kind of dries it up even quicker. And then after we have all that cleaned up and removed, we can now finally go back inside and get thermal paste and thermal putty applied and go on from there. So for the thermal paste, we're going to use Kingpin KPX, and for the thermal putty, we're going to use Thermal Grizzly Advanced. And I'm going to go ahead and get the thermal putty applied now. And it's going to look like I'm using a lot of putty at first, but what I end up doing is using the little spudger that comes with it and kind of scraping off the excess. So you do want a pretty thick layer, but you don't want it to be so thick or have so much that it's actually pushing the heatsink off of where it should be cooling everything else. But yeah, just taking my time, applying more than I need, and then getting rid of the excess, and then getting thermal paste in place and getting the cooler back down, and we should be good. I'm going to go ahead now and apply the KPX thermal paste to the CPU and GPU die. And it may look like I'm using quite a bit, but you definitely want to have more than you need, especially for a laptop. And this is non-conductive, so it's not going to cause any issues. But I'd rather have too much than too little, so I'm going to go ahead and get that applied. And we're going to kind of test fit the cooler, make sure everything's good, then we can get it screwed down and move on with the process. And if you remember earlier on in the video, there was this tiny ribbon cable that we disconnected toward the top of the motherboard. So that's actually the light that shows the status and when you power it on and everything. So I actually have to move this little circuit board over to the new palm assembly. And it looks like it's just held down by some pretty thick double-sided tape. So I just took my time with a plastic spudger, pried that off. We'll get it stuck to the new assembly, and that way we can get that plugged into the motherboard, and we should be good with that. So now that we have the new palm rest assembly and the motherboard is on the palm rest, we can kind of go in the opposite direction and get everything plugged back up that we unplugged. Just double check all of our connections. So you want to make sure that your keyboard, your touchpad, your backlight, the button at the top, the display cable, make sure your RAM is in place, your SSD, just double, triple check everything. And what I also recommend is that if you do put the back plate cover on before you power it on, just don't put all the screws in case you need to pop it back off. So we'll go ahead and get everything plugged back in. We'll take our time, we'll triple check everything, and then we can get this thing powered up. And then after we've done everything else, the last step is to finally screw the hinges into the new assembly, make sure they're secure, get the laptop opened, and we can test it and make sure everything is functional. And everything booted back up, and I fully tested everything. I'm running some stress tests here with FAR Mark II and IDA64. And the CPU and GPU temps are still a little high for what I like to see, so I did open this back up. I applied some PTM 7950 in place of the KPX, and it did help a little bit, but I'm still not 100% satisfied. So I let the customer know if they have any issues, let me know. And the next thing that they can do is buy a cooling pad, and I'll have a link to that below. But basically what that does is it elevates the laptop and pulls in some fresh cold air and helps it cool off. So gaming laptops do run hot. There's not really a whole lot you can do other than what I've done here, but yeah, hopefully this will run a whole lot better, and this should fix the hinge issue as well. And this laptop is now fully functional again. All right, so there you have it. I've got it all put back together. It's working. Hinges are in good shape. Can't really predict if this will happen again, and I'm having to be a little bit quiet because folks in my house are asleep. But I'm just going to give it one quick little final wipe down, and this thing is good to go. So I appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate you tuning in. Let me know if you like these type of videos where you've got these breakdowns and taking laptops apart and things like that. So again, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and go ahead and hit that subscribe and that like button if you haven't already. It really does help me a ton. And yeah, I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.